Julie, you there?
Hi, yes, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Good morning, Marcy. Marcy, you there? Need to unmute yourself.
Hi,
Hi, Marcy.
sorry about that.
That's okay. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I was just trying to print something out. Give me one
Oh.
second. I just need to print something out.
You have time. We're still not live yet.
All right. How are you all?
I'm hanging in there.
Exactly, right?
The post-election waiting.
The waiting is terrible, right?
Oh,
It is crazy.
yeah.
Oh, this printer is just driving me nuts. Okay. Oh. A friend just told me that there may be counting going on for another 3 or 4 days
Or longer. Yeah.
or longer.
Yeah. The absentee ballots.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know, I pick up the paper and I read some of the stuff that comes out of Washington, and like, I just can't believe what I'm reading. It's just too, like, you can't make it up.
I know.
It's just bizarre.
Mind-boggling.
It is totally mind-boggling. How many people are expected for today's meeting?
Well, I haven't heard from anybody that wasn't coming, so the committee should all be there. Julie's already on. You're
But
on.
it looks like Shuli's on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The only one I heard from was Yosef, and he's just running a little bit late.
Ah, okay.
There's Glennis. Hi,
Hi,
Glennis.
Mary. How are you?
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I hope everyone's doing well as well.
Seems so. All going through the same issues, waiting for results.
I hear you.
Apparently the president has tons of lawsuits pending now.
There it does.
Crazy. Just crazy.
He'll probably end up suing the 70 million that voted for Biden at the rate he's going.
Right, all of us. Exactly.
Ah,
Yeah. I mean, just the blatancy of it. I don't know if that's even a word, we'll stop the counting because it's going to make them win, or keep the counting going because it's going to let me win. I mean,
yeah,
It's-
right.
Outrageous.
it's completely outrageous. scary thing though is just what's actually happened, because I feel like, you know, by ramming this last Supreme Court nomination through, we're sort of screwed for decades now, in a way, but maybe not.
And also what's scary is that it's this close, you know? Who would have thought that we'd be 3 days later still at this?
Still at it, right? Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I was reading some of the things I was reading in the Times where they, you know, talked about elections like in the past. Like I think I was reading that when it was Reagan versus Carter, and Reagan won something like 489 electoral votes and Carter won like 50 votes. I mean, like the disparity was so great.
Right.
And also, I think even one of the Roosevelt elections, I think, was also, or there was another election somewhere along the line that was also where the difference between the two was just such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Fern will not be here today. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
other person. It's her birthday.
As well, she should not be here.
Therefore, she's taking off today and tomorrow. So
Let's hope she's partying well, right? I feel like I still have a few days maybe to get my little bottle of champagne I was going to get the other night.
yes.
Actually, I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to take a look at the Times website and see what's going on. Let's just see what they show. They're behind though, I think. Oh, it looks like the Senate now is even,
Oh, okay.
48 to 48. And the Dems are leading in the House.
Richard, hello. You're muted. Maria. Hello, Maria. Maria, you're muted, darling. Richard?
You know, I'm not an
Yeah.
expert.
I'm
on this.
here.
There you are. Okay, good,
I had to call in everybody. How's everybody?
good.
Good, thank you. All right, so I'm in.
All right. Richard, how are you?
Uh,
Doing okay.
I know Fern is not going to be here today. Celebrating a birthday, not the victory yet.
right, Fern is celebrating the birthday. Is it today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today her birthday, or is just Fern's birthday?
Fern's birthday,
Today.
yeah.
Is it really today or is another day?
Today.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I think it's today, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Mary, do you want us muted or do you want us unmuted? Or doesn't it matter?
It doesn't matter as long as we don't hear a whole lot of background noise, you know. If your phone is gonna ring and you need to take a call, then, mute yourself.
Right, right, okay.
So that we don't have that. Okay. All right, so I think we can go ahead and get started. We have quorum. And we have Shuli and Marcy on board. Marielle, welcome.
Hello, I'm driving, so I'll just be listening.
Sorry,
I said I'm driving, so I'll just be listening.
good. Ebenezer, anything from Carol? Carol Weeks?
I don't see her.
No, huh? Okay.
No, and I haven't heard any communication that she will not be able to make it today.
I'm sorry?
I haven't heard any communication from her. I haven't seen anything
Yeah.
from her that she's not making it.
Okay. All right, so she's probably trying to get on. Anyway, let's call this meeting to order at 10:40 a.m. I expect that Joseph will be joining us shortly. That's the communication I got from him. So welcome, everybody. I think everybody knows everybody at this point. Yes, no? Everybody knows Marielle de la Cruz?
Everybody knows Maria de la Cruz.
I thought so. But we all have to say good morning, Marielle.
Oh, that's true.
So, I think we're all in, as we were saying earlier, when we were chatting just before the meeting, we're all in wait and pray mode. So we'll see what happens as the days continue and the votes get counted. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything else about the elections at this point. Personally, I'm happy that the local electeds all got re-elected.
Well, I'm happy that we didn't have any disturbances up here, that everybody really cooperated. I went around to the early voters
Yeah.
places. very little, problems. Some people that didn't have the patience to wait online, but I think this is something new for, for us here in New York. So we have to get used to do that. I think it was convenient for a lot of people. The last day of the election, I mean, the general election day, I should say, there was less people because of people took advantage of the early voters. So I think that was good.
Yeah.
And, let's see what happens. Mary, the situations about the early voters places that we had 3 up here.
Yeah.
We didn't see too many problems with the ADA compliance. The Board of Election sent monitors to make sure that the people who were working the lines outside, were really doing what they were supposed to do to expedite, so that people didn't have to wait too long in line. But anyway, I think it went, it went well. Next time will be better.
I
The
think,
problem I saw with that is you couldn't tell who the workers were because their badges were so small. And
Yeah, but
there
that
were
was the
thousands
last
of people
minute.
in line,
You know,
so you
that's the-
couldn't tell.
yeah.
You couldn't find anybody.
Right, but that's a last minute jobs that they
Mhm.
came up with, because they usually have like a door clerk, which is the person who,
Right,
get
right.
people to, but outside on the street. This was the first time that, and it was cold, it was raining some days, but I don't know. I think Marcy was gonna say something.
I mean, I agree. I think from, just what went on earlier this year after George Floyd, that where we are here is sort of a good area. I just sort of feel that once the final, result comes in, there's going to be a lot of unrest. Now, it may be more downtown and in Midtown and other parts of the city. I was in Midtown the other day. I had a couple of medical appointments, and places were starting to board up their
Right.
stores and stuff like that. I'm worried as to, I kind of feel that regardless of the outcome, there's going to be some pretty major unrest. It may not come up to the Heights and Inwood, because we're so peaceful up here, but I think there's going to be, I just think elsewhere in the city, and even in the other, when I say the city, I mean other boroughs as well. I'm just kind of not fearful, but just like, I think stuff is going to hit the fan. That's just my feeling. I voted early. I went the first day, and I was very fortunate because I brought along, I had not completed my absentee ballot, but I just brought it along with me. And that saved me having to have like a 2 or 3 hour wait, because I filled it out right then and there. They said, if you have an absentee ballot, we can bring you in without waiting on the whole line, because it easily would have been a 2 or 3 hour wait for me. So I was able to put my ballot in the, in the drop box. I had to wait on a shorter line, and then I went in. So for me, the voting was, was okay. It was okay. I voted at the Armory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I also noticed that the Armory and the Columbia University were really hospitable. They brought refreshment for the workers. They tried to make sure that everybody was comfortable. So I think that they deserve our thanks for that. You say something about this disturbances. I think there's going to be some in some areas. I think most of these things are organized by outsider.
Yeah.
The local people, we have demonstration, but not at the extent of the things that are happening in Brooklyn. And
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, part of the 3-3 police precinct, I could report that there were some problems within the George Washington Bridge, but that was a caravan that came from New Jersey. They blocked their plate. They couldn't identify who the vehicles were from, but it was taken under control very early, from the beginning of the when they realized that what was happening. But I think it's the sign of the time that there is the communication. People can reach out to everybody by Zoom, by telephone, by the news media is also they love to agitate. I think that the news media is giving them time to some people who they love to do this type of thing. So we have to I think that the result of this election is going to make us a little more conscious about the things that we are doing and things that we should be doing and things that we haven't done, and we need to communicate with each other. We need to talk to each other.
I
in
think the
order to
other
move-
thing is also that the sheer numbers of people who came out, and people I heard, like interviews with people who never voted before.
Mhm.
When you have, in the past, it seemed that people would be amazed, like if you had a 50% turnout, that was considered good. And that's really pretty horrible if you have
Yeah.
only half the electorate turning out, but millions, hundreds of millions of people. So I think, people were really feeling, regardless of what side, people were feeling energized, and maybe there's some way to make sure that there should be this kind of participation always.
We
not
need to
just-
take advantage. We need to take advantage of this opportunity now to get the people, to stay involved and to air, the conditions that everybody's going through, and to see how we can better, the country, because this is a fantastic country. Except that if you see how, some of the states handle certain situations, it's painful. But I think that right now we need to get, to heal and to, try to move forward, especially the younger people, because they expect a lot, and they don't have the patience that we, over 35 have. Anyway, Mary, I think we're taking
Yeah.
over your meeting.
That's okay. I'm happy to hear all this discussion, and I think it's, really important. And I was really impressed by the numbers of very, I have to say, old people, 100 and 102 and 106-year-old people getting out to vote. It's amazing,
Well, the three people who were, you saw them on Channel 7, Channel 4, and Sister, they are from my area. Two of them are from my church. One of them is the aunt of George Tingling, which is this city clerk now.
Right,
Milton
right.
Tingling's aunt that
Oh,
lives down
awesome.
the block from here. The building now next to ours. The lady, 107 years old, is on the corner of Broadway and 157. Also, she's a Catholic. She comes to our Catholic church. Doesn't miss one Sunday. She lost a leg due to diabetes years ago, but still she does everything in her house that she can. The home attendant, she tells the home attendant, when what to do and what not to do. She's very, really involved, and she wanted to go in person to vote, because I said to her, it's the absentee ballot. You can fill it out and take it in. She said, forget it, I'm going in. And so that was the lady on PS 28. Also, she's been voting forever. Also in person. She's forget about getting this paper ballot thing is for some other people. But one thing that I wanted to say I miss one lady, Miss Watts, WATTS, that lives on San Nicolas Avenue for a long time. When she turned 103 years old, she was very more frail than before. But what she did is that they wheel her to the entrance of the school.
Right.
She will
Right.
get up from her wheelchair.
Mhm.
It's an African American lady, and she wanted to walk from the hall to the table, to her table where she will have to sign in, because she says she wanted to show the young people the struggle of the African American people trying to get the rights to vote. So she didn't want to show that she was, they would just wheel her, and it was very easy. She says she wanted to do And this year I miss her. I have to find out if she's still around or whatever. But she, every election, she will walk to the table, get, sign in, and then go and vote because she, she says the people and her, years and years they work so hard for the right to vote. Why couldn't she just walk to the, to the new scanner? Because before it used to be like those label machine, remember, which I
Right.
love. I used to love those machines, but anyway. But I miss her this year. I have to find out what happened, if she's okay or what.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I took
Amazing, yeah.
enough for your time, Mary.
That's okay. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about the budget results, the capital and expense budget results. Did everybody get copies? I sent out to the public members and also to Marcy, Shuley.
I had to apologize because I don't know how many of you, I didn't want to say too much about it, but I have surgery on both sides because I have a
Right.
problem in one of my eyes. So I couldn't read, and I was driving
Oh,
my
I know,
sister,
yeah.
Tracy, trying to help me. So I really didn't respond to the budget, which is, first time in many years that I have done something like that. So I'm not too familiar with the result, Mary, so I'm sorry.
Well, the committee made out very well on the capital budget with the board votes. System-wide upgrade of CB12 area to improve access to connectivity and Wi-Fi. The board voted that as number 2.
Great.
Okay, number 1 was under housing and human services. So that was number 2, and the next item that we had voted as number 2, renovate existing or build replacement senior centers as necessary to comply with ADA and DFTA regulations was voted number 8 by the board.
That's wonderful because as you know,
Yes.
the city usually consider the ranking, the highest ranking by the full board. It's
Right.
not just the committee. I
Exactly.
think that I think you did a good job, Mary.
And to have all 3, we have a third one on the capital budget too. Provide funding to construct affordable, accessible senior housing. The board ranked number 3. So all 3 of those of the capital budget items for our committee were ranked with,
Very
in the
high,
top 8, really. And I can't even say the top 10, the top 8. So I think that's, an excellent show for our committee. And, the things that we want for the seniors in the community. So,
Well, let's hope the city comes up with the money now, because it takes
because then it's,
it takes a push by our city council. Yeah, no, it takes a push by the city council member, to make sure that they don't, pull this in for the following year and things like that.
Exactly.
So
On the expense budget, we didn't do as well, but I can tell you that the one item that we left for, Health and Environment Committee is the mental health issue. Thanks to Marcy's wording that the Health and Environment Committee adopted our suggestion for including the seniors in that, and I'll read it. Expand mental health services in the community, especially for seniors and others whose mental health and social engagement have been adversely impacted by COVID-19. Was ranked number 1 by the board. So that's
wow,
yay.
that's awesome. Wow.
Okay, so that's on the expense budget. The items for our committee, I will give you the rankings. Again, I'll increase Increase funding to expand services at senior centers and CD12M to include hiring additional social workers and program coordinators to create culturally competent programs, adding meals, extending hours, increasing per meal reimbursement rates. That was ranked number 10 by the board, which, you know, it's not bad. That's within the top 10. The other items didn't do so well. Increase access and outreach to healthy, culturally appropriate food for seniors with medical needs, ranked number 19 by the board. Increase funding to expand services. Oh no, I did that one. Increase the expansion in the program expanded in home services for elderly persons, funding to provide affordable home care, including sliding scale reimbursement, ranked 15 by the board. Increase funding for transportation for seniors by restoring prior city council funding and expanding access and outreach, ranked 25 by the board. Increase funding for naturally occurring retirement communities to support currently unfunded mandate for nursing hours, ranked 29 by the board. Increase other than personal services funding for replacement furnishings, non-capital and senior centers as needed, ranked number 44 by the board.
Mary, was there anything about, I can't remember, did we put in anything about technology and access to technology?
In the capital. System-wide upgrade of CB12M area, because we wanted to make it more, in discussion with the full board, wanted to make it more inclusive than just the senior centers and, you know, wanted to do the whole area of CB12, which would include, because Youth and Education Committee wanted it to include the schools, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, to get the connectivity for everybody, which
So
would,
system-wide upgrade of CB12M area to improve access to connectivity and Wi-Fi, the board ranked number 2.
oh, okay.
So that was after the mental health, you know,
Right.
on the expense budget. But yeah, so yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. You know, as I said, and as Maria said, we do these rankings for committee, and then we do it, then the whole board does the rankings, and it's all compiled into how, you know, how it comes up. Joseph, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay, good.
We were just talking about the budget results. I'm sure you have that.
The results? No, we got the results.
You should have got it. It was sent out to all board members.
Okay, maybe I didn't look at it. Yes. How did we fare?
The capital budget, the 3 items ranked number 2, number 8, and number 3.
Great.
The expense budgets we didn't do so great on, but the one item on the expense budget that fell under health and environment, because they had already had it on their agenda, the mental health issue, ranked number 1 by the board. So, you know, that's really good. And they took our wording to include in that item. And we were just talking about the fact that just because we ranked it and sent it in, and you know, it's number 1, number 2, etc., doesn't mean that the funding is going to be available for those things, but we will keep pushing and hoping. The connectivity for and Wi-Fi for the entire CB12M area was made more global because Youth and Education wanted to have it also in the schools and, you know, that sort of thing. So we made it very global. And so it was ranked number 2 by the whole board. So that's a good thing. Any other comments about the budget? Okay.
Oh, really? I think we did fantastic, Mary. Thank you. thank you for your, commitment also, and to make sure that you have the link with all the other committees.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a joint effort, and it's something that should be done by the entire community board membership, that they should be looking at the issues on all the committees in order to
Exactly.
push, to make sure, to make us stronger, as opposed to just leaving committees, work by themselves. I think that, especially the issue, the needs, most of the things that we put in our budget should be mandatory in any city, in any place that, that have the type of economy that New York have. And we are always begging for things that that is really, that shouldn't be, but that's the process and we have to follow. But I think we are, as a committee, we should be proud of
Agreed.
accomplishment.
I agree. And, a big shout out and thank you to all of the committee members for, their input, and also the guests on the committee, because, Marcy was able to come up with the wording for the mental health issue. And, that's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah. So everybody's really putting in a lot of effort into this committee, and, that makes me feel good that I'm working with such a great team. Okay, I have other old business. One of the things I saw this morning on Patch, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, is the increase in COVID infected people during the last 4 weeks in the Washington Heights area. The three zip codes, 1032, 33, and 34, have all shown a big increase. 32, which is mine, is way up. And I tell you the numbers. What they showed was the increase over the last 4 weeks compared to the previous 4 weeks. And in the 3-2, it's 104 cases in this past 4 weeks to 41 in the prior 4 weeks. That's a huge, huge increase.
Did they say why they feel that is the increase? Is just that maybe people who are a little not that much concerned. I mean, I saw a lot of people. I have seen people without masks sitting on outside restaurant, and I just don't know if they are enforcing or where are those cases coming from. It's on the younger population or the older population. And
Well, when
like
you go to a restaurant, you don't have to have your mask on when you're sitting down.
No, right. No, I understand that. But most of if you see the restaurant and they have these plastic wraps around or the canvas thing and things like that, I mean, somehow it doesn't make me feel too secure about, protection. But that's my personal feeling. If it's
Let me just tell you the other two zips. They're less impressive, but still there's an increase. 3-3, 98 in the past 4 weeks, 52 the prior 4 weeks, and the 3-4, 55 compared to 30 in the prior 4 weeks. Maria, I agree with you about the outdoor dining. I mean, I can't see, and also now they're building sort of almost more enclosed, not just plastic wraps, but they're putting actually, heavy stuff and building up the walls.
I don't realize
in those outdoor dining areas.
I was going to say, I don't see what the real, because I've been noticing that too. Some of the places.
Let me just finish my thought before I lose it.
Sorry.
The reason I'm saying that there's going to be more of a problem there, I think, is because now, okay, everybody inside there has their masks off, whether it's social distancing or not, and most of it's not because the tables are on top of each other and the outdoor dining. But all those droplets that are being let out of everybody that's sitting out there in those dining areas now is enclosed and confined. There's no way out for that stuff. There's no, ventilation of any kind, I can't see how it's not going to increase. I really can't see how it's not going to get worse. And as far as the area goes, I think, out in the street, I mean, I passed 6 people the other day, and not one of those 6, yeah, some of them had masks on, but they had them under their chin, or they had them over their mouth and not their nose, that kind of thing.
I was going to
So
say, from seeing these places, with the outdoor dining, and I understand that the restaurants want to be able to provide a venue or keep providing a venue. But honestly, to me, with the way they're building these, I'll call them sheds now, more than just say like for example, Kismet up on Fort Washington, the Indian restaurant. I went there during the summer and they had their sidewalk part, they had like a tarp kind of thing over it, but just over it. Now it sort of extends. It doesn't seem like there's a real difference to me if you build the shed out on the sidewalk and you enclose it in a more structured way, to keep out the cold. What's the difference between that and indoor dining? I mean, it's essentially the same. It's not like you've got a tarp over the seats that can keep out the rain, but then, the air can come in. So what's really the difference? And I think they're probably figuring that unless they do something, they're not going to be able to serve anybody. Who wants to sit out in 35? I certainly am not going to sit out in 40-degree weather, even if there's heaters in there. To me, that's not feeling so comfortable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not surprised in a way. I'm not surprised.
I don't think that the numbers are increasing because of the restaurant. I think that most of the owners are doing everything they can to get the business going. I think it's more than the protection. When someone knocks on my door, I have a little mask, by the doorknob, and I don't let anybody in here unless they have a mask. I mean, my sister and I live alone, and we have no babies anymore, so I'm not gonna take a chance, even with delivery. So even neighbors from around, I think that the people should be doing something similar, not to let anybody just walking from the street because you don't know what you're carrying and things like that, and try to, to wash everything that they purchase and the, restaurants, I mean, the supermarkets and, bodegas and everything else. Because now we are, the new wave that they talk about, I hope it doesn't hit us, because for the winter, it's going to be very difficult to control that type of illness. I don't know. I just don't know how to maybe pass the word to the senior centers to inform people to be careful not to allow people to, even home attendant, they should be, when they come to the, to provide services, they should be careful about, health security for the people who are they going to be taking care of.
What we've been doing because it's not technically part of the senior center, but we have a program called Safe at Home that works with, seniors in the community. And one of the services that it offers is, housekeeping. And for any of the seniors who want to have the housekeeping services, who may have had them before and then they were, suspended and out, they have to sign a waiver. And unless we have a waiver on file, for that person, we're not going to send the housekeeper in. And they have to take, I mean, I have a copy of the waiver here, all kinds of precautions if they're going to go in. But I think also a lot of stuff these days is so driven by what people hear on the media, whether it's the radio, the newspapers, the social media, and I think between all the stuff that's just been going on, and you hear one side saying, oh, we're turning the corner on this. And then you hear the saner mind saying, nope, we're not turning the corner on this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I think people are getting a lot of conflicting information, and they're also so tired of having to live in kind of a semi-lockdown for, months, that people are getting antsy, and they're kind of, you know, many people are kind of loosening their, you know, letting down their guard, let's say, in a way.
Mm.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, despite what the governor, I mean, I think New York is probably doing a lot better than a lot of the other states from what I read, but it's still starting to change in here. We're getting another spike.
Yeah.
I'm more
Yes.
concerned about the elderly, you know, the people who will, you know, if we get this situation, nothing will save them. Young people, you hear, I mean, from the fool that is sitting on the White House, that he's parading all over the country, thinking that he's so cute, you know, sending the wrong message. But I think that we need to send
back to him.
the local, for our local people, just to urge them to be a little more careful, and that we, you know, we need to protect them and protect each other.
Is there some way that maybe, I mean, is there some effort that the committee could make? You know, like tabling or something? I mean, I don't know, you know, to kind of get out the word, or just kind of, or reinforce the word perhaps, you know, or have some sort of like, again, I don't know, you know, like have something in some of the part, you know, like an information table or some, I'm not really, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head, some sort of, you know, or have some places where people could go, where they know that they can get sound COVID information, you know, and maybe if people feel like they need either someone to talk to or want a referral to some sort of services that might be able to, you know, provide some sort of support. I don't mean like we're going to be taking care of everybody's finances or anything, but just, you know, some sort of community effort to kind of, now that we're, you know, 7, 8, almost 9 months or 8 months into this pandemic, you know, something like a community event, perhaps. I'm just going to throw that idea out.
You know, that sounds like a good idea. And, you know, perhaps the Health and Environment Committee would want to do, you know, join in something like this. If
Maybe
people
could
think
you, I have an idea, maybe, you know, how about through our committee send some type of communication to all the senior centers within Community Board 12, asking
Well,
them
that's,
what type of security measures they are following, and see if they need, you know, they need additional, you know, help that we could, you know, get to them. And as far as communicating with their membership, but not all the senior centers are open, of course.
We're not open. No, actually, no.
Right.
Senior centers are
let
not
me
open.
let me interrupt here for a moment. We have Shuli on the committee, and Shuli is the chair of the directors of the senior centers. Shuli, can you?
Yes,
do that?
we're not open right now.
Right.
They sent out a communication to us asking us to answer a survey as to what our reopening plan might look like, and asking us to provide a tentative date for at which point we might feel willing to reopen. And they wanted that date from us because they weren't requiring all the senior centers to say that they were willing to reopen. And if only some were, they wanted to know whether they could pick up some of the slack for those that were not ready. The original date they gave us that was the earliest we could put in for was November 9th. Last Friday, we all responded to this survey. Everybody responded differently. Last week on Friday, they sent out a follow-up communication that said that is off the table due to what they're looking at right now and the new numbers and the new, you know, new updates on the situation. They are putting a hold again on our tentative reopening date. And when, I should clarify, when I say reopening date, they're talking about walking backwards, not reopening congregate, doing the same way we went forward into COVID to backing ourselves back out. They're looking at grab and go and possibly home delivered meals. The problem with the home delivered meals, although that is very attractive to many of us, if it wasn't in our original budgets, there would not be extra money for that. So we were advised by, I know I was advised by my nutritionist and my program officer not to commit anything that I can't squeeze into my regular budget, which, by the way, DIFTA said is going to be cut. So although it's very attractive, I'm not going to put in for home delivered if they're not going to help me fund that. I did put in for grab and go, and we would have been willing and very eager to start on the 9th. It's not happening. Last Friday, they said no, and they did not give us a new tentative date. I can tell you that as far as Mariah is concerned, Marcy can speak to the why. As far as Mariah is concerned, as soon as they give us the next tentative date, we're going to put in for it. Our seniors really, really need it. Not just do they really need the meal, which we have the double complication of our seniors being kosher only and the kosher meal option coming from the city not only being unpalatable, not only being inconsistent, they don't produce enough of them. So a lot of our seniors who are on the kosher option find that if they run out, they just don't send. This is a problem. So that's just a separate problem just for us. Some of our clients have asked for kosher option, even if though they're not kosher only, because they're used to eating at our center and they think that they might be getting similar type food, and they have gone off it then because they don't require it and they're finding that their meals are not always coming. So we're very eager to start up again, and it's not just for the food piece. I think grab and go for the seniors, if they do it properly with proper PPE, there's some social contact for them, and they are missing that so terribly. We have a robust Zoom programming, but again, not all our seniors have the equipment, the internet, the tablets. I mean, everything that was discussed here. We have some that do, but we have many that don't. And we call them and we talk to them, but they really miss, even if it's just seeing our face for 10 seconds when we hand off a meal, they want that. And I want that for them. Right. So we're going to open as soon as we can, and we're going to try to do it as safely as we can. But right now, the department put the big red stop sign up for us.
Surely,
that's a good idea. I had another idea that maybe cost some money. Is it possible that we could organize a little postcard type of drive to inform to bring to each client, anyone that's receiving, the food, says, COVID is still around. Remember to stay safe by following certain,
We do regular wellness checks with all our clients. We call them all on a rotating basis. So they are being reached out to. If everyone,
they can put like in the refrigerator that they can remember that the COVID is still gone.
We also just, an email came, a DIFTA thing came this morning. First of all, Shuli, I don't even remember getting that email from DIFTA about the 11/9 date being off the table. Maybe
they just say they didn't say specifically 11/9. They just said it's off the table right now. We're not looking into reopening again.
I don't even remember getting that. Can you forward it to me?
Friday, right? Friday. I think it was Friday.
Oh my gosh. There was a thing. I want to just give a shout out to Mariah, because I saw you guys were featured in the an email came this morning about a new initiative called Friendly Voices that DIFTA's organizing, where they're doing, they're matching, let's say, volunteers up with older adults who want to have social engagement. So it could be, or not just necessarily members of senior centers, where it's kind of like friendly visiting by phone. So it's called Friendly Voices. And a newsletter or a sort of a, email came today from the commissioner, which had that as well as some other things. But in that email also, they highlighted a couple of senior centers that were doing some really interesting programs, one of which was Mariah and the Zoom program.
I didn't read it yet. I see it now.
You see it? All right. So I thought,
we did we've been doing a lot of fun stuff, but the thing that they highlighted was our craft class. We've been delivering to their homes the kits for the crafts and then doing them together virtually, and we made tie-dye masks with them.
Right, I saw that.
So
I
we were
signed
keeping
up for
them
your
safe.
music next week.
Yeah. Oh, that was the floral napkin rings? Oh, sorry. They highlighted an old one. We did
Ah.
floral napkin rings before the springtime. But no, recently we actually did tie-dye masks with them. And
I'm
we're very
looking forward
excited.
to your music next week on Monday.
yeah?
World Music.
Oh, Darius
Mm.
Kaufman. He's amazing.
That
We've
looks like
had
a
him
good
before
program.
in person. We're also very excited. Our book club has been continuing virtually too. And we had a little bit of a stop when the libraries were closed because we couldn't get the books out of the library no matter how hard we tried. But the libraries are slowly reopening, and we have now a few of our upcoming selections in-house here. And again, we deliver them to our clients' homes. And we're super excited because our next book club selection, we're going to have the author join us on Zoom. So that's always a lot of fun.
Cool.
So that's going to be on December 7th. And hopefully a lot of people will read the book and come and enjoy it. They need that social interaction in any way we can.
Tell Marcy that it was October 30th.
October 30th is the email.
One from the Associate Commissioner
From-
and Svetlana.
Right. So you have Svetlana. The Associate Commissioner sent out an email on the 30th about the cancellation of the reopen date.
I'm gonna
And
look
then,
right
to be
now.
honest, you have Svetlana as a program officer. She then copied it. She forwarded the exact same email about an hour later.
All right, I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna take a look right now because for some reason I don't, maybe I just didn't.
I got it 3 times. I got it twice from DIFTA, and then Svetlana forwarded it. And I can't imagine that she wouldn't forward it to all her programs.
So maybe she didn't notice the thing.
Oh, it's, this might be the one.
In the third paragraph.
It's in the third
Okay, I'm
paragraph,
gonna-
Connie says.
Until further notice.
Want to move on?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Good discussion, and it's, interesting how much the senior centers are actually doing in terms of reaching out to the clients and providing.
Well, we
as much
send out a
activity as you
weekly.
can.
I know Marcy does too. We send out a weekly email, and it has lots of pertinent information and also our entire Zoom program for the week. And we also met with the police department with the seniors also so they could, hear about scams during COVID. We had crime prevention officer with us and on Zoom. So we're trying to keep them engaged in a lot of different ways.
Also, it's only as good as the number of people that.
Okay, new business. I just wanted to, well, actually, I was going to say something there that should really come under announcements, but I think it belongs under new business just because it's going to end up being a little bit of a discussion, maybe. The borough president, along with whoever downtown, I can't remember exactly how it's, but anyway, CB12 won they had a paper challenge for which community boards could do the most paper recycling, and Community Board 12 won first prize, which is a good amount of money. The money is not going to be used for the community board, but for sorry, I'm looking for my notes. I have somewhere. Oh, for community board organization, for organizations, community-based organizations in the community. And board office has asked for suggestions about those community-based organizations and who people think that the money should be going to. So if anybody has any suggestions, please let the community board office know. If anybody has any ideas at this point, you can let me know.
Well, I hope that the money goes to the small organization, as
Right.
opposed to the large, CVOs that, they have the staff to, to put together proposals and things like that. And
get grants, yeah.
most of our senior centers don't have that ability to apply for money. Maybe some of the people who are listening today should take advantage of that before the money disappears into lawyers' hands.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else that might fall under new business?
Anything is going on for the Thanksgiving, the holidays are coming, Hanukkah and things like that. Anyone is doing any extraordinary thing for the seniors in our areas, especially,
We're doing virtual parties, and we're trying to have we're having a virtual craft. We're going to do candle making for Hanukkah, and we're having a virtual party featuring live music. And we might have some other video special event on the Wednesday, because it's 8 days we're trying to. But it's hard. It's hard to do it virtually, but we're trying to.
And again, you only reach a certain number.
Right. We can only, as Connie's in the background telling me, these programs are all fantastic, but they're only as good as the numbers that we can get in on Zoom and who can join.
Correct.
And if we show a dreidel collection video, people can't phone into that. They can phone in to hear the music.
Right. Yeah. That's not good.
And they can't phone in to do the craft. I mean, they can, but the social aspect is missing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see, we don't have anything more, Mary.
Hold on a second. Okay. I wanted to spend some time talking about ideas for presentations at the meetings. That hopefully we can try to begin to reach out to seniors who have the means to get into these Zoom meetings. People from the senior centers, and Julie, I think you could be helpful in spreading the word. So that, these presentations can be, the knowledge of these presentations can be, put out there in the community. We had a couple of suggestions from board members. One person I had thought about, because we've been having her do presentations at the Aging Committee, is Lisette Valios from the Alzheimer's Association. She does a terrific presentation on Alzheimer's. Wayne Benjamin, who lives down in Maria's area, talked about, the seniors down there, not necessarily, residents who are aging in place at home. And but people who are able to get out and, enjoy life and that kind of thing, there may be some topics that would be of interest to them. Wayne suggested things like staying active and healthy, health insurance considerations, employment considerations for seniors, estate planning.
Well, I think that sounds good, Mary. That sounds good.
Hang on. And Richard Allman suggested possibility too, that perhaps Carmen de la Rosa talk about the bills that are currently on board for hold on a second. Go ahead.
I can step in for a sec.
Yes, do that, please.
I just noticed that there are two bills that she's the sponsor on that particularly affect the aging community. One has to do with elder parole and elder release from prisons. The other I know less about, but I'll tell you what, Mary, are we on for 5 more minutes?
Oh, yeah, we're on till
Let me
12.
pull up the bill and see if I can get a little more information on that. I'll be right back.
Okay.
No, I was going to ask, while he's looking for that, Mary, is Brian Wayne talking about the young elderly, the younger elderly, or the older elderly? I mean, the social active people. What is he talking about? I mean, what is the age range that he's, you know? Because we have a lot in our community. There's a lot of seniors that are well off.
Okay, let me read his the part of his email here. Like me, these are people who, while over 60, are not focused on priority access to stores, are not associated with senior centers, and are among the many city residents who are aging in place at home. I wonder how the aging committee might cover agenda items for these seniors. Those are the things that I had quoted before. So, you know, seniors who are active in the community still, but not with senior centers, but you know.
He's considering himself a senior now, or close to be a senior. He's young, extremely young.
Wait. Hang on. Like me, okay, like me, yeah, I guess. I think he did say that at one point at one executive meeting. So any other thoughts?
But I think that it would be I love, you know, I love to talk. There's been a problem for, you know, some people in our community to be part of a senior center. Unless now with the COVID situation, it's very hard until everything goes back to normal. But trying to get programs and try to get them and be engaged. A lot of people like music, and how many of our senior center have a lot of music programs that they can come and enjoy, or movies and things like that. They don't have to go downtown to Midtown or to, you know, to the village for entertainment and things like that. But I think that once we open up the senior centers, they may be, because of the experience that people have had during this hard time, they would like to join the senior center and they come out and participate and things like that. But that's going to be, you know, work that we all have to do.
Marielle de la Cruz put in the question and answer, she wrote rights of tenants during COVID.
I think we did as a committee, we did well when our ranking for you know, seniors housing and things like that, protection, you know, I think we're doing, you know, real well as a committee within the Community Board 12, and the groups that are participating on the YCOA group also, you know, very active. Everybody is really, you know, working very hard to provide services to, and not to leave the seniors alone, you know, during this hard time. So,
Joseph?
Yeah, I was gonna say, would it make sense, because everyone in every industry now has to like recreate things and figure out how to cope during COVID. So what if we had, you know, people who ran senior centers almost present to each other what they're doing, what they've innovated, what they've added, and they can kind of learn from each other. Is that something that we would want to convene together? Or even, again, today, because things are on Zoom, you can have one senior center, like Mariah could be doing something great, but they could open it up perhaps to people who don't only come to Mariah normally, and having more cross-pollination, learning from each other and participating with each other.
Well, I know that that's something, for instance, that Rosemary Cortez has been doing with her program, the Health Outreach Program, because I've been actually every Wednesday at 1 o'clock tuning into a presentation that her OT students have been doing. Also, Marcy, I got a invite from Marcy for the for programs that are happening at the Y. So
Right,
I think
a lot-
reaching out into the community in that way is,
we have a lot of, and there's a lot of overlap, for example, a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but some of Shuli's clients I know that some of them have attended programs here. And by the same token, some of our members also attend Mariah programs and, are doing it virtually now. So amongst the senior centers, we get together and we, kind of let each other know what each other is doing. I mean, there's nothing that says that if you're a senior in the community, whether you're a member or not, or even, if you're living in Staten Island or Brooklyn, you could go on to our programs. The issue becomes, though, that if an older adult who fits the DFTA guidelines for being a senior center member, if the person isn't registered as a member, we can't count that person as participating. But for example, let's say you lived in Park Slope and you wanted to participate. So you just, someone sent you a link to the programs. You go on the program, you register, and then what we would do is we would try to encourage you to register as a member. Now, granted,
Understood. Yeah, I'm not getting into the details of registrations and
right,
but are we? My point is, again, I'm just curious whether us as the Committee of Aging for CB12, do we try to play a role of bridging? I'm sure there are other organizations doing it as well, but bridging between our partners in the centers. That's all.
Well, maybe there's a way, if there were, to list all of the different websites or places where seniors in the community could go.
Right. Is there a comprehensive calendar for CB12? Because again, now that things are on Zoom, you've really opened up so many opportunities for people who, I always go to this center, and they don't think beyond that. But there's no reason to think that way anymore. As you're saying, yeah, of course, they could do something in Staten Island as well, but at least let's try to see what's going on within our community.
Shuli, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What? I'm sorry.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything that might answer his question?
I'm sorry, I missed the last question. I was listening to the discussion, but then Marcy was answering, so I didn't.
Okay.
So it's the same question. Just wondering whether this committee
I'm happy to.
should
happy
bring
to forward
together
my newsletter.
to facilitate a conversation between people who are running the centers, to have more conversations. It could be happening already.
Oh, it's happening already. I'm the head of the subcommittee of WICOA, that is the community programs directors. That involves not just senior center directors, but it does involve all senior center directors in this area, and also self-help and Alan, all other community programs. And we were meeting every 2 months. We now meet every month over Zoom because we feel that right now there's a lot more to talk about. And we do meet and we do share with each other. And I'm happy to send our newsletter out to anyone registered or not. And in fact, we do. There are even organizations in New Jersey who've been sending. I mean, I get participants from all over. They send. We tell the local religious institutions to send out invitations to join our mailing list. Of course, again, if they want to register afterwards, I'm happy to register them. But we do as much outreach as we can because we want as many seniors as we can to. But I do think there is that structure already there where we are the directors of the different organizations are certainly sharing, and outreach. I mean, that's part of what we do is outreach. So if you envision something
I guess my
specifically,
question is,
I'm
would
not
it be
sure.
helpful if us, the community board, would also have that information
So I don't know how you envision doing that. What
and sharing it? And sharing it, whether it's at the general meeting or sharing it with our email list.
Well, I mean, I'm a member of WICOA also because I represent Community Board 12 because I'm the chair of the Aging Committee. So,
If it's happening already, then disregard what I'm saying. I'm
No,
just
Joseph,
curious.
what I was thinking, the way I interpreted what you were saying was, for example, you have a calendar for November 2020. And then on each day, even if you did it as like a sheet like that, so Shuli's doing XYZ on that one day and we're doing something, and just maybe even list the programs for that day with links or something so that people could know. Is that kind of what you were talking about?
Well, this
That's
is
what-
supposed to be on the Waikoa website, but it's just not being updated. And we had some issues with regard to that, which we did discuss at the Waikoa meeting. And the fact that Waikoa has a page where on that page are the links to all the senior center newsletters.
Who else?
But I can only speak to myself, my own. It's still from June up there. And I send them, I added them to my mailing list
That's about.
and they're not getting updated. So it's not so, it's a lot of work,
Medicare number?
obviously, to update weekly, for people who are sending out weekly things. Who's going to do that and how you envision it?
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand, Yosef.
So you need her.
So maybe even to have a conversation about that. How again, I view our role in the community board as convening
Maybe-
things and
Maybe Shirley,
representing.
you and I can talk about that.
Sorry. Yeah, I at the Waikoa meeting, I had offered, I cannot commit the time to updating
Right, okay,
everybody's
okay, so let. these are
links
only
on the
three?
Waikoa website, but there was some
Okay,
discussion
you're
about
in
giving
today?
access to the individual
I'm gonna call them
organizations
now
to
and
each
try to get
update their
some
own
information.
information at least.
Right.
So that
No problem.
that's
You're
like,
welcome.
but that, I made that offer, I put that out there and I didn't hear back. I'm happy to send anyone who wants the link to, our either a weekly email or a PDF of our program or a link to the PDF of our program each week. I'm happy to do the updating for my own organization. I really wish I could tell you that I had time to do updates for every organization. I can't commit to that. And I don't like to overpromise. I'd rather just say what I can do. And I'm happy to share our information, and I'm happy to update our information on other people's sites if they would like me to, and if they find a way to give me permission to do so. I'm trying to get the information out there as best I can.
Okay. I guess what I have to say, I can bring it up in Waikoa and then report back to the committee to see how we can bridge this gap and get all the information so that the aging committee will be aware of what's going on and can spread the word. Make sense? Yes, no?
That's fine with me.
Okay. All right. All right, so we have not come up with definitive plans for presentations.
Mary, let me finish that information on
Oh, that's
legislation.
right, Richard. I'm sorry, you're back. Okay, go ahead.
There are two bills pending which may be of interest to the committee. One generally operates under the title elder parole. The substance of the bill establishes a new process for additional evaluation of people over age 55 who are incarcerated, moving towards parole wherever possible. There is a second bill that I've looked at less, but the general direction of it increases penalties for any criminal offenses committed against people over age 60. I'm glad to try to learn more about that. Depending on the committee's schedule, it might be worth a presentation of one sort or another.
Richard, I'm sorry, the second bill you're talking about increased penalty that
For
people
criminal
who-
offenses committed against someone age 60 or older.
Wow. Okay, so you're talking about elderly abuse or or criminal, sins, is that?
From reading the memo on top of the bill and not having read the full text of the bill, it seems to me that that's targeted towards a street mugging, a robbery, and the kinds of things you talk about. It looks to me to be a pretty wide sweep of a bill.
Right, all right. That's because there are so many elderly people that have been pushed on the subway thing, or hit on the street, just by
Yeah.
derelicts and people with mental problems, things like that. Okay.
It's nothing terribly new. It is a vulnerable population. We're just
Right.
seeing new examples of it that fit this moment in time.
So maybe Mary could.
Do you think
look
we
at
could,
adding that to our next, the agenda to see
you
how
think
we
that-
could give
do
some
you think we could
support
get
to
somebody
address-
from either Carmen or somebody from the office to do that in December, at our December meeting? Or is that too soon?
I'm glad to do the ask if you want me to.
Would you? And then just get back to me and then. So that would be December 3rd.
I noticed that we just joined by the beauty cutie Cynthia. Rabbi, is that one of the little ones or the oldest one?
She's one that's getting growing before our
I
eyes.
know.
She's so cute.
She's very cute.
Yeah.
I figured it's a better background than a picture of me.
You're right, you're right. That's very refreshing that you did that.
Love it. I love that picture. Anything else that anybody would like to talk about or discuss or report?
Mary, I just want to let you know that Carol Wicks, she's on the call. She's was able to connect via the telephone.
Carol?
I was trying
Okay.
to let you. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Going once, going twice. All right, so our next meeting will be December 3rd at 10:30 a.m. And we will call this meeting, we'll adjourn this meeting. Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
11:51. Joseph, can you stay on for a minute?
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay,
All right,
we'll see you
goodbye.
all soon somewhere.
Thank you,
Take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Okay, I just wanted to, you took the minutes, yes, from when you jumped in?
I
Sort
did
of?
not know that I was supposed to do that, but I can try to recreate now.